Hey gang, today we're going to do Cody Jinks' Cast No Stones, or the solo from it. And it's a really cool blend of sort of old and new country. And it's got some nice rock roots in it and country roots as well. Really fun solo to play. We're going to cover this note for note in just a second. Hey, if you like this video, click the like button. And if you haven't yet, subscribe for one of these every week. See you in just a second. All right, gang, let's go over this note for note. First things first, please download the tab from the link below. It's going to make your life a lot easier. Okay, you might even want to print it out this time. Second thing is that you can see I'm playing out of a T-style guitar, or out of the bridge position with a T-style guitar. I've got a bit of gain on it, decent amount of gain, and I've also got a little bit of reverb, a certain amount of compression, maybe a moderate amount of compression, and I've got a slight delay on it. You can just barely hear that, just a tiny amount of delay. It gives me sort of that modern country rock sound, I think, to a certain extent. Okie doke. Let's go over the song itself now. Now, the hardest thing about this, I think, is the tuning. So I'm just going to simplify it for you and play in standard tuning and play out of the A position, okay? I believe the song, if you want to play it to the record, you want to tune down a half step and play it in A position. So in the record, it's actually in A flat, but I'm not going to do that here. I made a backing track for myself, and I could just play it in A, and I think that's probably the easiest way to learn it. And then once you've got it, and you want to play along to the record, or you want to be, quote, authentic, whatever that means, you can tune down a half step and play it there if you want to. All right, but we're going to play it in A for today, realizing that that's a half step up from the pitch of the record. Okay, if you got that, awesome. All right, before we go through this line by line, let me play the whole thing slowly so that we can kind of get it. It's a blend of major and minor pentatonic shapes. Now, as I said, this is in a song that's in A, and there's really only two things that we need to think about. It's primarily the solo is going to be in a blend, and it's going to be completely in a blend of two scales. One is the A major pentatonic, and one is the minor pentatonic. Same pattern, just move it up 3 strings, or 3 frets, I mean. Now, we are going to use the whole neck of the guitar, or most of the neck up to the 12th fret, but that's as we go into different positions. But just keep that in mind. On the bluesier sounding stuff, we're going to be using A minor pentatonic. On the more country-ish sounding stuff, we're going to be using the A major pentatonic. All right, let's work with this little intro that goes on there. We're going to be playing this right here, which is a standard country bend. There's a few pickup notes. So really using that 3rd string, bending that up very slowly on the 4th fret, bending that up a whole step. And then as you're up there, you're going to play the 5th fret on the 2nd string and then bring it down, like so. Give it lots of vibrato at the end. All right? So here's the first line. right, pretty standard stuff. All in first position here. I'm sorry, all in this position for the A major pentatonic. You can look off the tab to see exactly what's going on. I'll play it nice and slowly so you can see it. All right, blends into the next line, which is... All right, so that's a couple of different ways that you can play that. If you wanted to just stick in that same position, you could do that. You could do this. It's a little pick slide, or... So you're sliding up on the, in this case I'm playing it right down here, you're sliding up on the 4th string to the 4th fret and then kind of alternating between the 4th string, 4th fret, 3rd string, 2nd fret, like so. You can do it with pick and fingers or just the pick. Either one's fine. Now if you want to play the same thing, you can play it up here as well on a 5th string, 9th fret, and 4th string, 7th fret. It's the same notes. Here's the next line. It's a cool one. All right, we're still in A major pentatonic here. We're going to slide from the 9th on the 3rd to the 11th on the 3rd and kind of come up that little, playing that on the 2nd, 10th. And then we're going to walk down basically from the 12th all the way to the 8th and then come back to the 9th. But we're going to detour just a little bit. So the first time we're going to play this. And so what I'm doing there is I'm just coming right down that triad again. So I'm playing 12 on the 1st, on the 2nd the 10th, and on the 3rd the 11th. One more time slowly. Then we're playing this little double stop lick on the 5th, first 2 strings, and hammering onto the 7th on the 2nd and back. Okay, here's the next line. This is a minor pentatonic line. We're going to be playing it out of the minor pentatonic position, and here it is. Classic minor pentatonic lick, bending up from the 7th on the 8th fret, a 2nd string 8th fret, and then doubling it on the 1st string 5th fret. This is a nice little roll here. You can play double stops or not on that. Now here we're playing some double stops. Notice I'm pulling a little bit on that double stop on the 5th, especially on the 3rd string. Just pulling up like a quarter step. All right, here we come out of it now. Classic country sound there. We're playing a little hammer-on and pull-off line like this, and using some open strings. Now a nice little bend. There's a classic country lick. That's why it's tuned differently, and that's why you got to play it in A, is to get that little lick in. Otherwise you can't do it if you're actually playing in A flat and you're not tuning down the guitar. So if you play it in A, you can get away with it. If you're going to play it in A flat, you have to tune down your guitar to get that open note. If you haven't seen that before, basically I'm bending up on the 6th string to try and get sort of close to the pitch that I'm going to play on the open A string. All right, that's the first of the solo, first time through. Okay, here's the second part of the solo. Starts out with some bends up here on the 10th fret, first string. All right, first string 10th fret, we're going to bend a full step and pull it down. Okay. That's a nice little line there. Simple but nice. 10th on the 2nd, 9th on the 3rd, and then back to the 10th on the 2nd. Give it lots of vibrato. Give those lines lots of vibrato and make them work. Here's a nice little trick as well. This is really just an A7th arpeggio that we're sliding up to. All right, so we're just sliding up to an A7 arpeggio and just kind of going through it, occasionally extending up to the 10th on our first string. So that A7 arpeggio, or that A7 chord, is basically 3rd string 9th, 2nd string 8th, 1st string 9th. Okay, that's, and you slide up into it. And I should say that when you start, you play the 3rd string, then the 1st. So it's kind of like this. It's kind of a typical cadence. And you'll notice that if you extend it, if you play on the 1st string, occasionally that 9th, now if you listen to the record, it's kind of like just a cloud of sound, so I don't think it's important to get that one exact, the exact times that you go up to the 9th or anything like that. Just keep the timing right, and it's going to sound great. Give it vibrato if you can. All right, here we're going to end it up with some nice country style licks. These are some pedal steel type licks. Okay, first one is an E over an E chord, and we're going to play a double stop on the 7th. First 2 strings, we'll take on the 2nd string, we're going to bend that up a whole step, like so. Okay, and you'll notice that when you bend that, you're basically matching this, which is an E chord. Very classic. Okay, next one is just moving down 2 frets, doing kind of the same thing, but this is a little bit different cadence. Okay, this one goes like this. One more time. A couple of bends up and down like a roller coaster. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we're almost done. Here's the last line. That's just an A chord on the 2nd and 3rd strings, 2nd fret. One more time really slowly, playing in an original A major pentatonic position. And that's it. Okay, gang, well, I hope you enjoyed that one. I had a lot of requests for it, and I enjoyed playing it. If you have any comments or suggestions, leave them in the comments below. And until next time, we'll see you on down the road.